All right, we're live. All right, guys, we're back again. So we're waiting on our special guest to come in. He should be here any moment now. Joseph, you got any MBK updates?
Put out a new video. The last video of Michigan State is done. I'm working on the last couple videos from Fallen Heroes, and then I'll start really banging into the bulk of Wisconsin State's. Other than that, I'm starting another weight cut. That's about it. Nothing new.
What's the weight cut for?
For a tournament next weekend.
Okay. I mean, anyone going to be there? Is it a novice tournament? Is it a PAF tournament?
It's a USAA tournament. It's the mother load, the MPC mother load or whatever it is.
Nice.
It's at a big convention center. I think there's a couple of super matches happening there. I know for sure Scott Wynn and Luke Pulsher are pulling.
Oh, really? I did see a note about that.
Yep, they're pulling there, and Robbie Topi and I don't know the other guy. They were looking for an opponent for him for a while, and then somebody finally answered the call. So I don't remember the name though.
Is Scott's union funding prizes there?
I don't know, but I want to get a hoodie if he has one.
Yeah. What's up, Rance? Hey, Chris, you got a training update? Training update, bottom 8 update.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
Everything's good. The only thing I'm really focusing on with a lot of emphasis is bottom hand, bottom finger containment, and my numbers are as good as they've ever been. I've interjected some new exercises with bigger handles in accordance to Ryan's hand, because he doesn't have a lightweight hand. He has a big hand. So bigger handle, stuff like that. Try to simulate the setup, all that stuff, so I could try to get the hook in at some point. But everything's on par. It's kind of hard because I've never pulled them. I don't really know anyone who's ever pulled them. I've never pulled anyone who's ever pulled them. So it's hard to gauge. But he'll get the best version of me anyone's ever seen, especially hand, wrist-wise, so mechanical-wise. So we'll see.
Overall,
when you say bigger handle, go ahead.
Go ahead, Joe.
When you say bigger handles, do you mean bigger than what you normally work with?
Yeah, I have 2 shafts I work with, and both are attached by the bottom and come off a bearing. My small one is 1 3/4, which I've used just general training against lightweights, but it doesn't really add up when I pull bigger guys. It doesn't. I mean, it still transfers a little bit, but it's not direct. It's not direct application. So I have a 3.5. It might even it's 3.5 or just a little bit over 3.5. It's a huge, thick handle. Again, bearing rotates and attachment from underneath, and that's.
And you can use that on the top too, right?
I don't use it on the top. I would never use it. You could. Yes, you could. Yes, you could. Yeah, you're right. Top or bottom, but yeah, for Ryan, it's all bottom. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
cool.
Very true.
I was curious if you were bigger. I know I had seen that. You posted that video in the training group a bunch, but I was just curious if you had you went bigger than that. I didn't know.
3? No. I mean, there's such thing as going too big, right? Oh, look, I can hold 6 inches with 4 pounds. Like at a certain point, it never makes sense, right? So for me, 3.5 is about the biggest I'll never need to go. After that, it's redundant. My hand's basically open after that. It makes no sense.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. But other than that, everything's on par. He'll have to be really good. He'll have to be really strong.
What's your weight, Chris?
I fluctuated a bit this week because I tried to clean up my diet a bit, a little bit even more to clear up some inflammation in my right elbow. But it's probably a high 160s. Yeah, it fluctuates right. The last while it's been fluctuating from 167 to about 172. I'm not too worried about the weight. I'm not going to lose the match because I'm 5 pounds not as heavy as I can be. It won't come down to that. And you have to understand, the goal is not to beat Ryan. The goal is to win the whole thing. And I can't come in bloated. I can't come in with water retention, too much water retention.
I can't come in. Exactly how big you
I have to come. I have to kind of come in really good condition physically, and inflammation has to be low, stamina has to be high. So it's just going to be a good, fairly lean 165, 168 version. Nothing special.
Are you expecting long matches, like in your training? Are you kind of prepping for that, or no?
Yeah, all my training, especially when I do my table sessions every 2 weeks, is geared on one guy after the other, right arm, left arm, going into lactic acid, pulling through points at which you want to quit, and then when there's too much lactic acid and you get pinned, you go to the other arm and then you go to the back. So it's just nonstop conditioning. But when it's in the gym, when it's non-table stuff, it's pretty much heavy statics, 8 to 9, 10, 11 seconds, stuff like that. But yeah, it's always geared. The table is mostly geared for long-term conditioning. Yeah.
And Gobby, you kind of you made a comment. Is this the best you've ever been?
Oh, I can say that. But the thing with my right is I've gone into tournaments like Michigan State, and I'm feeling great. I go right through the preliminaries, and I have bone spurs in my right, so everything's going good. And then all of a sudden, I get into a hard hook match, and my right elbow just lights up, and I can't even extend my arm. And although I can stop matches really well, it's just I have no sideways game. But that can be I can almost fix that 100% with diet, so I'm not too worried about that. But I think right hand would probably be the best. Will it be the strongest my arm's ever been? Maybe not, but it'll be the tightest angle. It'll be the most mechanically sound version, because against him I have no choice. I can't be, I don't need to be the strongest I've ever been to beat him. Not arm wise anyway, not shoulder, not chest wise. Because if the hand,
then you were
the hand flattens
for sure.
Maybe not left. Michigan, my right was
still no. Yeah, for sure.
Well, right, my arm was banged up in Michigan. I wasn't even training much. A lot of times I go months without really doing much with the right on the table because of the bone spurs. Michigan was really prime. My left was just really trying to peak for Dan Blanchard. My left was really trying to train for Dan.
Your left had been for a while, in a while.
I don't know. It's always hard to gauge if the hook's the strongest it's ever been, because there's a lot of components into, if I have a little bit more wrist flexion, it seems that my hook is stronger. But is it that because you have more supination across your opponent's pronator? But are you really that much stronger? Yeah. So in Michigan State, my left containment, like just stopping rollers, was the best it's ever been. I went through everyone very easily.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive, I'll say. So the reason why I asked is because, like, hypothetical, what do you think Jake Houston would do against Ryan Bowen?
Well, that's it. I mean, Jake's definitely stronger. Jake's got a Titanic hook, but Jake got rolled by Dan, right-handed. Now Dan's right is not as proficient as his left rolling, and if Dan's rolling Jake, Ryan's bigger. What's that?
Well, Jake won.
Yeah, but he took a loss to Dan. That's my point. He got rolled, then he came back and beat Dan. He did take a loss to Dan. Yes, he did. He came through the B. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Ooh, comments. I don't remember.
Anyway, doesn't matter. Point being, Jake can get rolled. Jake is rollable. So Ryan would beat Jake. He would roll him, I think. But I don't know. Like I said, I've pulled you. I've pulled people that have pulled Herm. I've pulled people who have pulled people. Like, there's 3 degrees of everything. But with Ryan, I've never even practice pulled with anyone that's even met him. All I have to go by is his fucking videos against guys we've never heard of, or Artem. I know he's pulled Artem, and Artem said he blew through him. I hear people saying that he's incredibly weak, but then he opened Justin's wrist in that super match in the 3rd match. I think he kind of like flat wristed Justin in the strap. So
they were both kind of flat,
right? So I don't know. Like we have never ever seen Ryan pull an elite hooker who can contain. We've never seen him do that. We've never ever seen him. Now we're going to see it. Unfortunately, we're going to see it versus a guy 3 weight classes below. But we're going to see if I can stop him.
Dan's not a containment hooker?
Dan
Mosier.
No, Dan's not a containment hooker.
No.
But Dan's a high hooker, a levered hooker, a top roller, but Dan just destroyed him. I'm talking, we've never seen Ryan against a guy who's one-dimensional hook defensive puller. Yeah.
I got this.
So could you stop Ryan? Yeah. So we're going to see it for the first time. What most likely is probably going to happen is he's not going to be able to roll me. But what he's going to do is probably going to do what John Brown said to my left years ago, is just sit back at the back of the pad for minutes and minutes. And unless I can't get a little bit more bite on his pronator, he won't be able to pin me. He won't have the side pressure. He'll just sit there at the back of his pad. as long as it takes till I start fatiguing, I can see that being, and can I hold him off? Can even from a flat wrist position, can I cut through him? We don't know this. No one knows it. That's why it's interesting, because I don't even know the outcome. I don't even have an idea. He might be so overwhelmingly strong. I'm like, holy fuck. Or I might go through him and say, he is a terrible arm wrestler, just like I thought. So we'll see.
Okay. So,
quick question from one of the audience members. What's your peaking strategy for this match?
Peaking really doesn't change. Peaking it doesn't matter who it is or what the tournament is. Peaking is trying to clean up diet so the inflammation is minimized a month out, 2 months out, and then it's table time every 2 weeks. And so what I do is, let's say I pull on a Saturday. Sunday, Monday, I can't do anything. Maybe Monday I do lower body. Starting Tuesday, I can do 60%. And then I have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, where I can go balls out, crazy, no statics, just heavy, heavy, heavy dynamics. And then as Monday, Tuesday roll around, I'm still doing wrist. And then I start peaking for the next table session, like on a Wednesday. And then Thursday, Friday are dead days with maybe some squatting. That's it. To peak for my second table session 14 days later. So I keep doing that. That's the routine until so not this weekend is off. Next weekend I'll be training right through this weekend with weights. Next weekend will be table time, my last table session with the guys, and then there's 2 weeks before Ryan. It'll be 1 week of heavy dynamics, low volume, tapered off 5 days before the event, 5-6 days before the event, where I do nothing. When I say nothing, no upper body, I'll still do some light squats. I'll like squat thrusts, stuff like that. I'll do some conditioning stuff because my body just feels like shit when I go more than 2 days without training. So it'll be basically 14 days, no static, and then about 5-6 days, no dynamic upper body. That's how I peak. And that usually gives me a good level of everything I need.
Yeah. All right. I guess we'll use that to segue into my trip to Mississippi last weekend. So due to getting pre-banned from the Costa Rica event, I knew I had to get some tournaments on my schedule so that I could have some table time, competition time before Zloty in November. So the Mississippi tournament came up. You know, I did my pre-checks. I saw Rance Clayton was on the super match list, so I assumed it was PAF. But I double-checked that it wasn't PAF, so I decided that it was safe for me to go. And I got in the car with Ryan Timms, and we headed to Mississippi. So I guess the point about that is that I'm the only person that's willing to go on a road trip with Ryan Timms.
Yeah,
so
there's a short list.
I don't know if that says much about Ryan or it says more about me. Yeah. But it was a good trip. Went to the event. There were some good super matches. In particular, Paul Passmore pulled Derek Simmons left-handed. And that
was a great match.
Paul beat him 3-0 in the hook. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen. I mean, Derek hasn't. I don't think Derek's lost left-handed in a long time. He's probably the best left-handed puller in Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and maybe Alabama. I mean, like the guy's like regionally pretty damn good. But yeah.
Yeah. My takeaway from that match, like Paul's been slowly climbing, and he impressed me, but that's no surprise. And I remember, I recall you talking often about Derek Simmons and his left. But what I took away from that is how brutally strong his defensive hook is. Talking about Simmons, like he just looked like he looked like the lesser arm wrestler, not as experienced, not as technically proficient, didn't have the wrist Paul had, but just raw stopping power with that left arm. Fucking impressive. No,
Derek's a dog because I can't move Derek. You know what I mean? If Derek,
I don't doubt it.
Derek's 100%. I'm 100%. I mean, it's not even a match. But there's some other good matches. And then in the tournament, I went undefeated right and left hand in the 242s. Right was pretty easy. Left was a little bit challenging because I had Dan Whirley in there. Dan did have a super match before that. So maybe he was gassed, maybe not. But it was a good experience. I haven't had anyone really challenge my hand like that in quite a while. So that was a good match. Supers wise, yeah, I won a couple matches, didn't place. Each hand, I definitely dropped a match early because I went for a hook against guys I shouldn't have been hooking. And that's part of the random draw local tournament deals that you don't know who you're pulling. One of those matches, I think I got the guy back on the B side because I just went straight for a top roll. But definitely some strong guys. Derek ended up winning the Supers left-handed in an absolute war. And you can see that on Autumn Top Rolls page. And then Wayne Withers won the Supers right. I won the overalls left-handed. That's how I got the giant golden bulldog. And then
I was wondering if that was a right and left or how that worked, because I saw people having them and it was like
all first place finishers won that, because I saw Artem walk away with one. I think all first place finishers won that, didn't they, Herman?
No, all the super match winners got a gold bulldog.
Okay, that was it.
And then the 2 overall winners got a gold bulldog. So I got a gold bulldog for left hand overall, and then Wayne got it for right overall. Yeah, I lost to Wayne for the right hand overall. And yeah, I think there was kind of a weird Mississippi setup going on there. It was kind of odd. I'm not saying that I could beat Wayne, but I think the match could have been more competitive than what it was. But overall, Wayne's pretty strong. I mean, I don't know. He's definitely top 20. I don't know if he made it to the bottom of the top 10 yet, Gobby.
He did. At one point, he cracked it, and then he got pushed off by a couple other guys coming in. But he was there for a bit. He might even still be there. I'd have to check. Was BJ not there? BJ Fokakis? Was he not? Was he not there?
BJ was there. Okay. I did lose to him right-handed.
Yeah.
In the open tournament. I beat him left-handed in the open tournament. That's not really his good arm, but yeah, right hand, he went high side. Like I had no room. I couldn't get out. And at the same time, he had blasted me so far outside my shoulder that there was no way I was getting into a hook either.
Yeah.
So he chose like the perfect technique to pull me. But that was a strong dude. I don't think he got second, but I could be wrong. Maybe he did.
Yeah.
He's
another
pretty
one.
good.
I find he's like Passmore. Those 2 guys over the last 5 years, I'd say, or 4 or 5 years, have really been on an incline. Talking about BJ and Passmore, it's really really getting on the radar.
Yeah, Paul has like a cage fighter background.
Yeah.
And then BJ has a baseball background. And I think we usually see baseball players do pretty well.
Yeah.
Due to their elbows being conditioned for stuff. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a really good event. Well run. Brad Mann did a hell of a job. I mean, on the brackets, I mean, he had a table. It rained on the table. He didn't have a table. He stood up and did brackets. And, I mean, everything went smoothly. You know, no excuses.
Nice.
Like I said, just a well-run event. The Mississippi guys were cool. So, yeah, like I said, overall, pretty good event.
Nice.
I did get fun. Yeah, what happened?
I said it looked fun from the videos. Like, everyone was having a good time, it looked like.
Yeah, and I did meet this one older guy who must have been from the woods or something. Wasn't an arm wrestler. He gave Jonathan Parsons all kinds of shit about using your wrist in arm wrestling. And I think Parsons got like so triggered that he just walked away from the guy. But I ended up talking to the guy for probably 40 minutes. And one of the highlights of the conversation was him showing me how he arm wrestles. So he only believes in gripping up like this.
Yep. I've heard of that, dude. That's super.
And I've met the same guy, this type of a guy, at numerous events in the South. I don't understand why anyone would arm wrestle this way. But I told him, I said, you know, I spent 6 years in California, and that's how those boys in California arm wrestle. And you know what they say about those boys in California. And the dude got hella triggered. He said, man, I got a wife and kids, man. What you trying to say? But yeah, so that's my Mississippi story.
How many times on the way home did Ryan want to stop for your fried chicken? 3, 4?
It was a 5.5-hour drive back, and it was probably 6 trips or 6 attempts to get food.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give it to Ryan. I mean, we went to Burger King, and he only got 1 value meal, so that's not bad. I was actually shocked. I was like, hey, man, don't you normally eat this? And he was like, no. And I said, are you just that inactive? And he said, yes.
Yeah.
He pulled 242s, didn't he?
Huh?
Didn't Ryan pull 242s?
Yeah, Ryan's about 220. I mean, she's on the shorter side, but yeah, Ryan needs to lose a few pounds.
Yeah. Got embarrassed by Whirley.
Oh, that was pretty funny. No, that was really funny.
Yeah, that was a great video.
Yeah, I'll say this, man. I didn't expect Dan to be that strong.
Man, I had Dan ranked number 1. Dan has some left.
For a while, right?
Yeah, Dan has some amazing wins left. I think his training is a little bit sporadic, but when he's his left is a dangerous arm. That's for sure. Any weight class, 95, 220s. Yeah.
Tons of.
This was super Dan. This wasn't like the Chance Shaw Dan.
No. Well, that was right-handed too. His left and right is quite. There's quite a difference in those two arms. His right's
he didn't even sign up right-handed.
No, his right's a tier 2. His left is anywhere from a 3 to 4. It's a good arm. It's a very good arm. Yeah.
Well, I was hoping our guest would be on. Anyway, let's talk top 8. So,
ouch, huh? Holy cow! Some big matches.
So what do you know, Drellick?
I saw the updates. It looks like Prudnik won 6-0 over Rustam, and then Vitaly won 6-0 over Trubin. I don't know how to say that dude's name, but he won 5-1 over Kurdeka, I think.
Yep.
And then Tim got swept 6-0 against Levon. And I don't know if there was another one.
I think it was just 4.
There's one more, but it didn't happen. There's another guy in that top 8.
Well, so there's only 4 top 8 matches because there's 8 guys.
Was there 4 or are we missing one? That was it.
So
we got the 4. Okay.
Yeah, Levon and Bresnan, Prudnik and Rustam, Valetin and Trubin.
Yep.
And then Angarbayev and Kurdecha.
That's it.
Yeah. So, yeah, Levon just kind of beat him easy.
There was 2 other matches too. It was Aslanov and
but they're not top 8 matches.
Yeah, I know, but they were there, right?
Yeah, and I don't know if they matter as much.
No,
I mean, I thought they were just like filler matches. The Israel match was a filler, and Aslanov. I mean, Aslanov I don't even think he placed at Arnold's. So
I know that was shocking, huh?
It's like they're doing their own bottom 8.
Yeah.
So they hype this card up for so long, and then often it's like 6-0, 6-0, 6-0. Like,
that was.
Hey, but you got to give them credit for trying. I mean, they attempted to get all the best.
Yeah, it's not the athletes. I'm not questioning the athletes. They're all fucking mega elite athletes. It's the matchups. Rustam and Prudnik was a great matchup. It should have been closer than it was. That's hats off to Prudnik. Kurdecha really has no business there, only because he destroyed Scott, but Scott's a tier 2 or 3, not even a 3. I'm going to give Scott a tier 2. So beating Scott kind of should have given him any credit whatsoever. So I'd like to see other athletes there over Kurdecha. Kurdecha shouldn't have been there. Imagine Devin versus the guy from Kazakhstan. Like, that could have been a better match. Kurdecha is just not that good of an arm wrestler, I find. And like you said, in his defense, he's only 2 years in. But I think we could have found someone better than they could have found someone better than him. Timmy, it was just a bad matchup because Timmy needs his hand, and that guy just swallows up hands. A 400-pound monster.
Is he really 400?
Yeah, he's 200 and. Did I read 173 kilos? 173 kilos is what so it's about 400?
Yeah, they said he looked smaller this week.
Right.
But I know at times, I mean, it's not crazy for him to be 180 kilograms.
That's insane.
And those guys are usually heavy, and then they cut a bit of water as they go into an event, so they have better endurance, right? And they don't get blown up.
So they could have picked someone better than Timmy. No disrespect to Timmy, but other than what do you want? They got. So
with the Tim thing, it kind of bothers me because they've wasted him on these matches with Krasimir and Prudnik and Rustam.
Yeah.
The Rustam one was pretty good. And then instead of giving him Trubin or some intermediate match, they go straight to Levon, who's arguably the best arm wrestler in the world.
Yeah.
And then so people are going to say, well, Tim got killed.
Wait, what? Yeah. Oh, okay. Well,
yeah. So, I mean, I think Tim could have gotten a better match that was more even, you know?
It seems like promoters, either consciously or subconsciously, love to set Tim up with an assassin. Like it's almost like subconsciously they want to see him get destroyed. And he fights like with Vovoda. He was a massive underdog. He fought his way through. Like, but that was just Levon's, arguably the number one on the planet. And that was not it could have been a much better matchup to see Tim versus any one of the other ones. Kurdecha, even Prudnik. But that was the worst possible matchup for Tim, or arguably anyone else there. I feel bad for Tim, but Tim will take any match he's given, and Tim won't be intimidated by anyone. So he took it and he did the best he could. What do you want? That dude's a fucking monster, like 400 pounds he's like Saplenkov, but a slightly bigger and a lot more sound on the table, right? He's a lot more, he seems tighter. He connects better on the table than Saplenkov does. Yeah.
He's more mobile, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
His joints aren't all probably gummed up from growth, right? Right.
He's not an overgrown, drugged up 230 pounder. He's a legit, he was probably like 360 pounds when he was 18, right? Coming out of high school. He's so fucking big.
Yeah. And then so on Garbayev and Kurdecha, I think people underestimated Garbayev coming into the top 8 because they just haven't seen the guy pull. He hooked and beat Laletin in 2017. I don't know if people realize that. And like Gobby mentioned, he made quick work of Kurdecha. Kurdecha's good, but he's still a 2-year guy.
He's raw.
He's a big, raw athlete who's done well. And I think he did really good against Gennady Kvikovina, but Gennady was probably injured or sick at the time. So I think he probably got called up into a match that he really wasn't ready for. And then Laletin and Trubin, I mean, that was 6-0 also, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, Trubin's just getting swamped. I mean, I don't know. I think Trubin, when he went supers, he got pulled up into another level because he beat Michael because he's a perfect match for Michael Todd. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't make him the perfect match for all these other guys.
No. I mean, we've seen Rustam beat him. He's just he's a huge guy, and he looks like a goddamn linebacker. Like, he's just so well built. But he just doesn't. I don't know. He doesn't seem to have the arm. He has a great hand. It's almost like he needs hand control to win his matches.
Yeah, and I don't. I mean, I don't understand the deficiency. I mean, we've seen the guy doing those partial curls with 280 pounds and all that stuff. It's like he doesn't have arm wrestling strength. He's just a big, strong, maybe.
Right.
Like he doesn't have the static strength, maybe.
Right. Yeah. Who knows?
And then Prudnik and Rustam. Did you guys see any of the matches? I think I saw one match. I think it must have been the last one.
I've only seen Levon and Tim, and I was fucking shocked. Wow.
Prudnik's really, you can argue about Levon and stuff, but Prudnik really, the way he arm wrestles, if you can't pin him within the first 3 seconds, you're almost done because he has such a fucking long hand and long fingers. And he's the perfect example of why a deep supinated hook backed by stamina in a super match format is the ultimate weapon. Rustam, the smaller forearm, smaller arm, smaller hand, gets his hook in, of course, and then Prudnik just eats up his pronator. So Rustam's in a 100% defensive hook, and Prudnik just waits him out. But we saw, and that was Prudnik lighter. Now this one, Prudnik looked about 20 pounds, 25 pounds heavier, and that just gave him enough horsepower to finish Rustam a lot earlier than he had in the past.
Yeah, and it's not just the deep supinated hook; is that he gets position and he still has all his up pressure. He has all his pronation, so he just kills you everywhere.
Yeah.
You really can't do anything with him.
Yeah. So many guys built like him. Like he's almost like a smaller version of Laletin, right? Very, very lanky, very long limbed. Very long hand. But instead of just fully committing to a top roll like most guys like that, built like Mask or Leighton would do, he's developed this almost like he's a hybrid between the Leighton and even Matyshenko. You know, he can pull like
everything, man.
He can turn it up and be a pull the trigger on Ivan. What's his name? Is it not Mazarenko? We were talking about him the other day. Matyshenko, who's one of the better, arguably the best puller in the history of arm wrestling to sink a hook in, or he can be a levered Matt Mask, the Leighton type. Like he really can do everything. It's quite impressive, really.
Yeah, and Alex Beziazikov from Arm Wrestling TV mentioned 235 pounds.
Wow. Yeah.
And so 230, I think Prudnik. So 235 pounds at a real body fat. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah. Well, he's not small. He's 6'2", so it makes sense.
Oh no, yeah. So the weight doesn't even matter. His frame is big.
Yeah.
And I remember I pulled him last year, and I just remember being so low on his hand because of how big his palm is and then how low his thumb is. I was like, there's no way you can top roll this guy.
No.
You know, I mean, I don't have a big hand, but I don't have a small hand. But I know him grabbing my hand was like grabbing a standard barbell. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like I was deep set. Like there was nothing I could do to top roll this guy. Mm-hmm. Did you see any of those matches, Gobby?
Yeah, I saw one or two. I think I saw one. I saw the one probably.
Okay, I think it was the last one. Yeah. And I mean, he made Rustam look like some like amateur.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It's not shocking. It's not shocking. Yeah. That didn't shock me because he's coming in. He did that. He gave Rustam wars, and every time they pull, he seems to be bridging the gap and getting a bite on him even more. And all of a sudden, he comes in 35 pounds or whatever, 30 pounds heavier, not having to cut to 198 or whatever. So it doesn't surprise me that he beat Rustam the way he did. Yeah.
That surprised me because they normally always have wars.
Well, I'm sure a couple of matches might have been closer. I don't know. The one I saw, he ripped through him. But like I said, it could have been the last one. Rustam could have been fatigued. You know, whoever pulls Prudnik and the matches go 30 seconds, 40 seconds, 50 seconds, that other guy's getting more fatigued than Prudnik. It's almost an automatic assumption. The way
but I did say you agree that those guys probably have the longest matches out of anyone against Prudnik, though. Him and Rustam.
Well, yeah. Well, and Zoliev too. Zoliev years back would give him. They had one hell of a war, Zoliev and Prudnik. Going back.
Actually, when was the last time those dudes actually pulled? Do you know?
No, I have no clue. No.
Other arm wrestling news. Did you see the matches between CJ Twine and BLM?
Yeah, I did.
No.
I did.
That was disgusting. I mean, the guy comes up from Canada.
So
RVJ shows up. I gotta say this. RVJ shows up. Paul Lynn shows up. Kenny Smith shows up. Storm Shalino shows up to watch. They're like, yeah, awesome.
So before we get into it, BLM is give us his name, Gobby. Brendan Lemon Mulville. One of Devin's students, I guess, on the Ottawa High Hookers. Sort of, I guess, a rising star in arm wrestling, but hasn't really left Canada until recently, and looked like he did pretty good this week. So
his biggest win was Chris Myers. His biggest win was on Chris Myers and Frank Hurst, both past their prime. Brendan's a good puller. He's a 2 anchoring close to a 3. I just wished, because he pulled Paul Lynn last year, and Paul Lynn just had too much arm power for him. And then he said, well, I'm going to come back and beat him next year. Well, Paul was there, didn't pull. RVJ didn't pull. So it's a shame for Brendan that these guys showed up but didn't pull.
Well, Paul ran the event.
Yeah, I'm not faulting them. I'm not faulting them because I know, and they all have a card coming up soon, right? So I don't fault them. Wall probably wouldn't let them. But it's just a shame.
So let me ask you this. Do you think Brendan knew that? So he went to Pittsburgh expecting to see Paul and Storm, right?
Well, Brendan, my knock on Brendan is he thinks he's better than he is. He's not a superstar. He's a tier. If you ask him, people, I've done this, I've done that. Who's your biggest win? When you ask someone, if you really want to know where they stand, ask them who their biggest win is. And if their answer is a tier 2 or a tier 3, then you're not a 3 or a 4, are you? So it's really who your biggest win is, and what was the circumstance, and is he past his prime, or anything like that. But what I will give him props on, he doesn't fear anyone. Like, he has a super match up in Montreal in July. He's pulling a 65-pound, 2-year arm wrestler who was former 5-time Canada's strongest man. Like, we're talking a man who's, insanely strong and big, and who just and who killed Paquette. And then Brendan took a match with him. So the kid's got balls. The kid is fearless. The kid is
but
hungry.
you also have nothing to lose. It's not in your weight class.
No, but still, he can get hurt. I mean,
who does that 465-pound guy train with?
He trains with a team up here in Quebec. He's sporadic. He's in the sport. He's out of the sport. But I'm just saying. Yeah, go ahead.
If that guy beat Paquette, does BLM have a chance?
In one match, no, because the big guy does know how to arm wrestle. He has the fundamentals down. What'll probably happen is, with many bigger, stronger guys that really don't know the subtleties of our sport in a super match format, is Brendan will pump him up. Brendan will do a Devin Lorette 101 with all the fucking evading and pumping and manipulation and all that bullshit. I call it bullshit because it's really evading. It's evading power. It's evading having to go head to head against a guy. But what'll happen is the guy might beat him once. He'll do the same thing. It might beat him a second time. And then Brendan will come out when the guy's forearm is pumped and his wrist goes back. Brendan will come back and beat him match 3, 4, 5 type thing. I can see that happening. But my point being, and even if he beats him, it doesn't put him anywhere on a map, because the other guy got beat when he was fatigued, and he's not really ranked, I don't believe. I don't think I have him ranked. But the point is, Brendan he's fearless. He'll pull anyone, but he's not quite as good as he perceives himself to be.
Joe, what do you think?
Just because he hasn't proven it.
What do you think about the regripping and the setup tactics to tire an opponent out before the match?
I wish I was good at it. I'm one of the fairest gripping dudes you'll ever see, for sure. So,
yeah. My comparison is, in MMA comparison is GSP, which I despise. So GSP was an excellent fighter. But he'd get a couple points on a guy and then run around the ring and avoid and evade. And
so
then
like what Connor did in Nate.
And yeah, exactly. And then beat him on the card, which is a legit win. But for me, Fedor Emelianenko, give me everything you have. I will take it, absorb it, and knock you flat on your ass and just outwill you. So for me, I always have a lot more respect for a man that goes straight up against another man, doesn't avoid his strong points, and defeats him in his own game. I think there's honor towards that. And of course, the great thing about our sport is it's not a horse pull. It's not a truck pull. There are subtleties. The smarter, more conditioned man can win. And it doesn't discredit his win. Just me on a personal level, I have much more respect for a grinder than I do a runner. And I will never, ever change. It doesn't discredit them. Just my own personal opinion. If you got to run from a guy, if you got to run, what does it say? If you have to run, what does it say? Yeah, you might have beat him, but
it's your strong suit, right? That's what it says.
So what does it say if your strong suit is running back and avoiding power? It means you don't train for strength. You train for running.
It could be, but it could also be that like you're just not really built for that. Dude, there's two guys, but I have a question. I have a legit question for you. So, would you call like every style of top rolling running, like even if it's like say,
yeah, if you need pronation or you that's running. Okay. That is running. If you need pronation, so for example, if you're like this and the other guy and you're feeling comfortable and that's fine. But if all of a sudden the guy rolls your pronation under and you're like, oh my God, you lose a match, that you don't have a hook. A hook has to be comfortable on the defensive end. If you're not a comfortable hook, if your hook is not comfortable on the defensive end of the table, you're not a hook puller. Now we know many hook pullers that have a great defense and come around and use pronation. Of course, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't do it because I don't have the parts. It's hard to come by, but that is still a hook. But if you need your pronation, but on the defensive side of the table, you lose it. You have nothing. You have no holding power. You're not a hook puller. Hook pullers need to have that setback defense for when things don't go right.
I agree with that. I didn't know if if you deemed one form a higher way of running.
No. Look at Paul.
The finger, more finger, high hand top roller versus a lower
junk. The difference is It's junk. That fucking
Dude,
finger
it gets
climbing bullshit.
wins. I mean, it gets wins. Look at Vitality, dude. That's exactly what he did to Trubin, just straight.
And many billionaires do it through thievery. Does it make it good? Does it make it honorable? No. So yeah, it's still a win.
No, I understand.
It's cowardly bullshit. But is it a win? Sure, it's a win. It's cowardly bullshit.
So let me ask you this, Gobby. So when I watched BLM pull CJ Twine, and I watched the setup games, I saw a guy in BLM that I think would give me a ton of problems and would top roll me just because of the setup game.
Depending on the refs, depending on a lot of circumstances, I don't disagree. And the thing about Brendan, he's not a smart guy. But when it comes to understanding the intricacies of arm wrestling from the get-go, like that kid 1 month in, the first event I saw him pull in 2013 or 14, right when he got to the table, his first event, like 2 months of training, he knew how to connect. He knew when to do this, when to do that. The kid's instincts to arm wrestle and when to adjust and micro adjustments and how to manipulate are like unreal. It's like he's an absolute natural for arm wrestling, and his table IQ is off the charts. Brendan will never, ever, 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 ever get out arm wrestled. He'll get beaten by stronger guys. He will never, ever, ever get out arm wrestled on the table. If you beat him because you're flat out better, flat out stronger in the parts that matter, he will never get out arm wrestled on the table. He will never get out battled. But that being said, you beat him. Like you go right through him.
So let me ask you this: should I start training for this setup? And I'm not talking about strength and loading like I do now.
Yeah.
I mean, should I start training for a long setup and playing the game?
Okay.
And I say that, Gobby, as a natural guy who's not going to have the horsepower advantage at the type of events that I'm going to go to. Okay. Like the events that matter on my schedule, I'm not going to just go side blast everybody.
Okay. Well, let me break it down for you. Who's next on your target? Who's the next, or who are the next couple of guys on the Herman Stevens target deck? Who are you gunning for?
RVJ Todd, right? No.
We're Europeans. I'm sure we're talking.
It's my competition as Lottie.
Yeah. Okay.
So, for instance,
you're talking USA.
No. So let me tell you this. If you train to load and play and manipulate, and you go to Zloty, are they going to play that game with you? They're not, Herman. They're just they're gonna smile and go and rest grip. So yes, these games work versus 2s and 3s. When you go to 4s and 5s, this shit does not work because the events that host 4s and 5s usually have refs that don't fuck around or don't let, and really 4s and 5s will not let you dick around. They will not allow you to fatigue their hand in a part of the matchup that does not matter. These guys, they don't do it. So will it help you in Pennsylvania? Nah, for sure. You can fatigue a guy that might be stronger because he doesn't know any better. But again, at the higher range, at the higher elite guys, they will never, ever, ever allow you to do that. So why train it? If that's who you want to beat and that's your target, why train to do something that will not have an effect on them because they won't allow it?
Yeah, I would say most of the guys light loaded or no loaded.
Of course, because I'm
trying to think. I think two, if I remember correctly, 2 pullers loaded with me. One was Vasily Daltashvili, and it's because I was posting. My hand was so strong, he had to post to protect his own hand because he's not a hooker. He can't just go inside on a quick chop. And the other was Angarbayev because he refused to go inside because he was saving it. And if he wanted to go outside, he had to load into the strap to protect himself. Other than that, I think everyone no loaded.
Yeah, it's not smart to play around in a tournament format. Messing around, loading in a 20-man cash class makes no sense. Now, in a super match, if me and you were having you and me is a bad example, but let's say Joe and I believe I have more stamina, I might load the shit out of him in match 1. Just as he fatigues, he weakens more than I do. So in a super match, I can see someone loading someone as it could be beneficial. When I pulled Dan at Michigan State and I tried to load with his hand, man, that guy just took my elbow right off the pad, and I felt I had to get ref grip. Ref grip favored me. Against Joe, I know I have the stronger hand, stronger side, back, doesn't matter. Against Joe, I might load him just because he'll be the one matching me and fatiguing more than I'll be fatiguing. I'm speculating theoretically because I've never pulled Joe, but stylistically, there are times when you want to load.
I wish we would have got to pull, man. I really do.
Well, different weight class.
Michigan.
Different weight class.
Even in the afterpool, you just had to bolt out of there.
Yeah, well, I had a 15-hour drive and had to work the next day. What do you want? Next year,
next
year I'll stay.
I'm saying that's why you had to leave.
Next year, I'm spending like a whole weekend. I'm booking 2 nights in a hotel, and
fucking nice.
I'm gonna have a lot more fun. It was a shame that I met a whole bunch of great guys, and I had to get the fuck out of there.
We'll all be there again.
Jake, so Herm, I think for you training that way is unless you're training for a super match in a league that will allow loading and will not go to a ref grip easily. But it seems like the sport is gravitating because we need matches to go quicker.
We don't train that way.
The sport is gravitating towards ref grip right away. Straps. Like just let's get the match. Let's get the foreplay over with so we can get right to the fucking. That's what arm wrestling needs to go towards, and that's what
it all happens anyways. At that level, you're right, dude.
And Zloty, these guys are not in the let's fuck around mode. It's they will not telegraph, and you will not be able to fatigue them prior to the match starting. There he is. There's the man.
Oh.
Hey, Gobby. So everybody, we got Jonathan Parsons here, but I want to wrap up this discussion.
Yeah.
So with that being said, Gobby, should I even compete outside of, I guess, my sweet spot if it means I'm at risk of losing because of some shenanigans?
No.
You should not be able to be shenaniganed, if that's a verb. No one should be able to do that. No one should be able to do that against anyone. When there's shenanigans, it's because one guy's provoking and the other guy's allowing it. I've always said to the guys I train, there's not a puller out there that can put me in a setup that I don't want to be put in a setup with because I will just get my ref grip. Like, and any elite puller has to be certain that he can get what he wants on the setup. And if he can't, he's at the wrong event, or the ref just doesn't know what he's doing. But
you have to be.
And you would say that even under WAL terms?
Yeah, well, only because Wall, they're almost automatically going to ref grip strap. If you even look at Bart Funny, it's ref grip strap. Hey, Bart, ref grip strap. So if now there's a lot of shenanigans with Wall with elbow fouls. Don't get me wrong, the elbow fouls, they don't have a clue. But when it comes to no fucking around, ref grip right to straps, we're seeing it more and more, that's one good thing I like about Wall is the majority of matches when there seems to be a little bit of discrepancy in the setup, which happens with most elite guys, is ref grip straps. Let's go right to the straps. Like, in 10 years from now, we're going to have tournaments where, come to the table, straps and a ref grip. Straps, ref grip.
Yeah,
right away. 5 seconds in, we're fucking pulling the straps on. Takes 5, 10 seconds to put the strap on. 5 seconds later, we're pulling. 15 seconds from the time you put your elbow to the time you pull. Stop with this 3-4 hours of event, a time of just setup pulling. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. I watched that Vendetta thing a couple hours ago, and it was like an hour and 40 minutes with maybe about 4.5 minutes of pulling. All I did was I put my finger on that little thing, and I went forward, 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 pulling, and then forward, 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 pulling, forward, 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 pulling. Like there was like 129 minutes of dead fucking around in the ref's grip.
But can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Put your volume up a bit, maybe.
You have to be at an elite level anyways to gain. For you to be messing around in the setup like Devin, like you're claiming does, and trying to, whatever. You have to be at that level, I think, to even gain anything from that dumb shit up there in the setup anyways. You know what I'm saying? Agreed. Anything below that, I don't think you're gaining anything. I think you're wasting everyone's time.
Yeah.
And you're scared. I think you're right. I think when you go up there and you grip and you're like, well, goddamn, this motherfucker feels a little stronger than I first. I mean, again, you're up there. It's a game. You see what I'm saying? It's like you said. Hey,
that's what Whirley was doing.
Yeah, he's a scumbag. I mean, he just that's his game. I mean, Whirley, a lot of people downplay Daniel, and I'm not swinging from his nuts. His hand is very strong. If your hand is not able to max him, I feel like if your side pressure isn't able to handle his hand, he will beat you. You know what I'm saying? And Herman was a perfect example of that. His match, the very first match, it was just Daniel didn't even get to his hand. It just went like this. It just went back. Immediately. And the difference of pulling for that is I think they're very even pullers. I just think Herman has a little more experience under his belt at elite level pulling with speed and power all in a burst. And that's where a lot of guys here don't understand. They don't understand it. The guys that have traveled, they understand. The guys who don't. It's just plain and simple.
Nice. Yeah, agreed.
Hey, so what? Go ahead, Gobby.
How'd you do in Mississippi, Jonathan? How'd you do?
poor. Well, I mean, I only pulled the super match, which I don't complain about weight. I don't do the whole weight complain. I feel like if I can pull you and I feel like I have a chance, I have a chance. You see what I'm saying? But he just had a little bigger hand than me, longer arm. So I was having more struggle in the setup. I felt good getting into with that before going to a ref script. Just when I was getting to the ref script, I was unable to cheat better than him where I felt strong. He was just stronger than me, beat me in the setup.
Okay. If I have $5,000 and I put it on a match, is you're right dominant, right? Is that correct?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. I have $5,000 and I put it down between you and Artem, right-handed. Who wins that match?
Artem?
You and Artem.
Right hand?
Yeah.
Artem wins.
Does he really?
Yes. My right's not so. Artem's right's way better than his left, though.
Okay.
Way better than his left. My left, when I practice with Artem, he really, if he gets into my hand, he can beat me left-handed, but into a hook, no, he can't beat me left-handed.
Now here's a better question. I have the same $5,000. I put it down between you and Max Tobin.
Right now, it'll be probably any which way to go. I pulled Max came in practice a couple weeks ago, but Max is a hit or miss guy too.
Okay.
If he's on the juice, he's juice. Let's not beat around the bush.
Yeah.
Certain guys geared up, you can tell. Different guys geared up better. I'm open with it, so it is what it is. I'm not going to beat around the. He looks way better, probably on the gear.
Yeah.
And he doesn't arm wrestle 16-year-old guys.
Nice.
Doesn't arm wrestle anymore. I told him, I says, bro, fuck arm wrestling and go commentate, get paid, dude. Super arm, dude. You know what I'm saying? Why arm wrestle when you're getting paid to commentate?
Fair enough.
Yeah, speaking of those hit or miss guys, I'm always missing. I need to start hitting.
Son, get on the train, son. But you have different goals, Herman. So you respect it different. You have different goals. You want to pull to where there's testing, so you respect that. I respect that. Everyone's different.
Yeah, I don't know if it's so much. I don't know if it's so much the rules or the testing. I think it's just a big decision.
That's fine.
And that's what I'm saying. And I'm an analyzer. That's what I do.
That's
so
fine.
It's just it would take a lot longer for me to make a decision than the average guy.
And that's a perfect example where I feel like the argument's kind of bogus. Look at you, all natural guy. If I put you in the lineup of 20 of the top guys, I wouldn't think you were on the gear. I can pick out anybody pretty much on the gear, but you beat 98% of them. So what's the problem here? Is your training philosophy better, or does the gear really not help as much?
No, I think when you say top 20, I'm assuming you mean in our country, right?
I'm just saying, yeah, you know what I'm saying. Let's just look.
So I'm just saying, if you took the top 20 guys in the world, right? You have guys that are better than me without drugs, and then use drugs.
Yes.
And then I can't touch those guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's combinations. It's both. It goes both ways, man. There's freaks that are just there. I put you in that category. I put you in the elite freak level that you're just born naturally, just genetically strong in those areas. Imagine if you were on the gear. Fuck, who knows? You'd be unstoppable, bro. I don't know. Who knows? I'm just saying, there's many options. Joseph, you're ugly. I just want to let you know that.
What now?
Those glasses are so ugly. God,
thanks, man.
Me off.
That's why I wear them. That's exactly why I wear them.
Is there ever dark in your life? Is it just yellow? Just daytime all day?
It's minus blue light spectrum. That's what it is.
Gotcha. I just think you're
Hey, Parson, so what did you think of Mississippi?
You know what? It's my second. I heard you talk about that old fucker. He didn't trigger me. Don't act like he triggered me like I'm running around stomping my feet. He was just too drunk, rambling for me and telling me. He told me how he was too strong for me, and I was just like, bro, I bet then you're probably really strong. And I was crediting this dude. He just kept going on. And I seen you coming. I was like, oh, he doesn't even know what he's getting into. And then I just bailed on you.
Dude, I talked to him way too long, man. I know his whole life story.
Oh my God.
He said he was a black belt.
laughing
He said
so
he was a
hard
black
reading
belt
that
in
shit.
Shotokan karate in 1984.
Dude, this guy was a Shaolin monk that I didn't even know I was standing next to.
Yeah, he showed me like some of his forms. We talked about all kinds of stuff.
Dude,
He said he has a degenerative bone disease. He said the picture looked like some termites got to his bones. He doesn't go to church anymore because they're hypocrites.
oh man, it was too much for me, Herm. I couldn't stand. I had to just bail, dude.
And then did you
I
see
know
his friend?
you were enjoying it. I could see you were enjoying it, and I was like, it's too much for me, bro.
Did you see his friend?
Of course, his friend kept telling me, "Hey, don't worry about him, but he is super strong." I'm like, bro, I'm sure this guy's legit strong.
Dude, his friend had like some giant plastic container of gravy. Like he was just holding it the whole day. I mean, no, it was just huge. Yeah, there was this overweight guy from Mississippi who was just having a good time, and it was just a giant, like 1 gallon plus container of gravy.
I don't know.
So in case he just like stumbled upon something to dip it in.
I don't know, man. I mean, we were at some kind of festival thing, and there were a lot of vendor booths and stuff. But like, I don't know. Did he bring his own gravy to the party, or did he buy that from somebody?
I mean, that's a great weight gain like scenario. I mean, if you're just just gravy in a gallon jug. I don't know, man.
Did we lose Chris?
There's
Oh
a
yeah,
lot of stuff in Mississippi that caught me off guard. So who knows? But I like the tournament. It was ran well. Both years it rained, so it's been kind of shitty weather both years, which it's whatever. But I mean,
Was it humid?
There, I feel like that's more like a small place where there's like hidden talent.
yeah. I thought it rained a bit, but it wasn't hot. I mean, it was actually a pretty good outdoor event. And like I said, I can't give those guys credit enough. I mean, I probably expected a worse event, to be honest with you, but it was a solid event. I think there were 13 guys in multiple classes. So, I mean, this is what a local event should be like. It shouldn't be 3 people in a class. The Mississippi arm wrestlers themselves weren't that weird, but definitely the people that were at this festival were a little odd, and they were drunk early.
Drunk early.
Yeah, there was this one black guy who kept running up to Jonathan, asking Jonathan if he could beat LeBron James in an arm wrestling match. And then Jonathan would answer, the dude would run away. Then he would come back. Hey man, what about Shaquille O'Neal, man? I'd love to see you and Shaquille O'Neal arm wrestle.
The funny thing is he was there already at like 10:30, 11 o'clock doing the same thing before you got there, dude. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Gobby, how do we get you to a Mississippi tournament?
Give away those fucking big ass trophies again next year. But I was under the assumption first place in every class got it.
If I
think I get my hands on that trophy, I'll fly down, no problem. Book it.
Yeah, I think the smallest class is 176.
Yeah.
So Herman, did you see Hancock come out on the stage?
No, you told me about it, but I didn't see it. Did Artem video it?
Of course, and I got to dude, this was the craziest shit. You ready for this, Gobby?
Yeah.
This is some crazy, like, I thought Ashton Kutcher was, like, involved in this shit because it was, like, some punk shit. So, what's up, man? No, I'm busy. Go over there. I told you already. Go. Sorry, my kid. It's bothering me. I took this match because I liked Sean Hancock. Great dude. Great event he puts on for BJ Cox's dad memorial tournament. Awesome event. Brought the family on stage. Don't forget to bring that up, Herm. That was an awesome thing. He brought the family up. Told everyone, the family, all the proceeds was going to the family. Awesome tournament. I'll come there whenever they need it. Anyways, I took the match with Hancock because I was obviously on Facebook and I seen him asking a match for Daniel Whirley, which I thought was just, when we had our talk of just the unfathomable people, the unrealistic people, the delusional arm wrestling group and club that we have in arm wrestling. And long story short, I told him, I was like, hey, I'll arm wrestle you. I think you're biting off a little too much. Well, anyways, long story short, I get up there, whatever. I get up there. Well, he pulls his, he's coming out there introducing him. He has all these titles I didn't know that he had. They just said, my name, Jonathan Parsons, from this city. That's it, bro. I was just a regular dude. This guy's got 14 intercontinental, international titles. I mean, I don't know what was going on. Anyways, he comes out to this Nelly song, which I didn't even know he fucking listened to Nelly, And he's like doing dance. And I swear to you, this is no joke. He's doing dance moves and he's screaming in my face like he just, hit 3, ammonia hits. He's red in the eyes. I'm like, I thought this shit was what. I didn't know if I was finna fight or arm wrestle this motherfucker. At this point, I'm guessing if I should judo chop this dude or go into a setup. You see it? And then at the end, I guess the song must have went boom, and like he almost damn near poked me in my fucking forehead, and I'm like, I have to win now, and it made it even that more bad of a loss because this dude, like, he did a routine in front of his mirror. I don't know how many times he routine this dance move, and he fucking beat me. It was horrible.
That's scary.
It was horrible. I thought him to kick him off the fucking stage. All kinds.
Hey, but there is video, right?
Yes, Artem has the video. I hope he doesn't.
Dude, if he doesn't want to post it, send it to us. We'll post it. I mean, it sounds like some good stuff.
No, it was legit. Like, I'm pissed I didn't do a dance. It's like that's how legit his shit was. Like, he had his shit down. I was slacking, very slacking. Like, this is my first super match. So I know what to expect, and no one's safe after this fucking match. And
he posed on you. He was blowing kisses at you.
It got weird, got creepy at the end. Don't know what it was about. I think he got his own, his own super match and gave himself his own trophy. I almost stole the trophy. I was so salty because I stayed at his house, but I didn't want to be known as the salty trophy stealer. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, so if I get another PAL Vendetta match, should I moonwalk or do some Temptations moves during the national anthem?
Yeah.
It's almost
that
very
would trigger some people.
like.
That would trigger people if I was doing the moonwalk during the national anthem, and I took a knee like James Brown. Man, that'd be some sick stuff.
You laugh, but what Hancock did isn't that different. I once saw at Michigan State Joseph do a pirouette after a couple of wins. It was quite something. So we've seen it before. It's supremely gay, but it has happened in this past.
Joseph.
Wins a win.
You didn't do no gay shit like that, did you?
Yeah.
Did you help Hancock edit that music video that he put on there?
Wait, what?
You probably helped Hancock set that video up, didn't you, Joseph?
No, I haven't seen it. I want to see it.
Well, Joe, did it get more than 5 views? Because if it did, probably Joe didn't have a hand in it.
You want to know the truth?
No.
Artem sold himself out. Artem's like, well, hey, I edited that song. I didn't know he was going to use it for you. I'm like, dude, you knew this dude was going to do this shit and didn't tell me? He's like, I need followers. I need this on my video.
Hey, here's one idea I had on the way home, and I'm not going to do it, but I looked at Ryan. I said, Ryan, this is a really nice trophy. I said, there's at least one Confederate flag on it. I said, it'd be really crazy if I Luke Kennett this damn trophy.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
Dude, they're legit trophies, Herman.
No, it's a super legit trophy. I'm going to keep it. It's a keeper. I've thrown away boxes of trophies, but I'll keep this one.
Dude, that's like, you can show that like to your friends, like when you bring them over to your house.
That's like if Chris threw away his gorilla, which I don't think it's happening.
No,
it's almost they're very comparable. Yeah, they're comparable to the gorillas, 100%. I agree. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're from the same company. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
What else? Anything else interesting happened in Mississippi?
No. Who won left-handed? Did you win that? You won left-handed. Correct?
Yeah, I won the overall. I mean, Derek was so gassed, and he tore his pec.
Did you pull Wayne Withers left-handed?
No, but I can beat Wayne left-handed. I mean, we pulled in November. Wayne, I don't know if Wayne even trains his left hand. He didn't pull left-handed either. Asking. Yeah. Wayne's in the comments right now. He wants to talk more about the gravy dude. Well, Wayne, I'll tell you this: the gravy dude also doesn't go to church anymore because they're hypocrites. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, dude,
That's one thing I found out about the gravy dude. But he was actually a lot more introverted than his Shotokan black belt, disabled former John Deere manufacturing friend.
Dude, it was bad, Herman. I applaud you for standing there so long. Like I couldn't do it, dude.
I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, I talked to Joe and Gobby all day, so
I can do it. Yeah, but they're funny. But I'm just not. I'm not into the obnoxious drunk, like, just like, all right, well, come on, I understand. Yeah, okay, cool. Drink your fucking gravy with your buddies down the street.
Well, he treated me better than most of these Louisiana guys. He had more respect for me as an arm wrestler because when I told him, he said, "Oh no, you could definitely beat me." Right? If you ask some of the Louisiana guys, I can't arm wrestle. So,
well, he probably seen me lose to Sean after he danced on me, so he probably knew I was a scrub off rip. You know what I'm saying? He's like, this dude's a bum. I can talk shit to this guy anyways.
Parsons, you got a challenge. Ryan Timms wants to pull you in a super match next year.
Who does?
Ryan Timms.
This kid's, man, this guy, dude.
You know, the guy with the big head that I showed up with?
Yeah, I know Ryan. Yeah. What's he just pulls right-handed, doesn't he? He doesn't even pull left.
No, he pulls both. I mean, he pulls super heavies.
Yeah, I could have pulled 76s that day. I mean, I didn't pull the tournament, but I mean, I don't know about you. I'm still sore. I pulled so much after pulling. I mean, it was, and then when we left there, we went back to Hancock's house, and we even pulled. Beretta was pulling more there, and Hancock, of course, had to pull Daniel Whirley, which he missed that. Like, he threw the mouthpiece in, dude. He said, "Hold on 1 second," and I was like, "Well, where are you going?" And he fucking went and put a mouthpiece in, 50 more horsepower when he pulled Whirley. Seen it myself, bud.
Impressive.
What's up, Gobby? Talk to me.
What's up, man?
All right, let's get some training questions, and then let's wrap up the show. Parsons, you sticking around for training questions?
Okay, hey, let's throw
or any questions.
Artem was talking about bottom 8 and how the Ginger got the bracket changed to benefit Ryan.
I believe it.
If that's where I was a little stoned, so I really wasn't paying attention. But I think that's what he said was the brackets got changed to benefit Ryan, and he is fucked, and he is not winning anything. I think was the exact words Artem told me. Yeah,
because Artem was scheduled to beat when he beats Laba, he's scheduled to Juji Mufi or the fucking beaver idiot, and it turns out that now he's going to have Craig and Evan, and Ryan or me will get the bye in Juji Mufu or the other guy. So yeah, Artem got fucked on that one.
Yeah, he's getting like 2 heavyweights in a row.
He's getting a 300-pounder, and then he's getting at least a 250-pounder. Yeah.
Wait, who's Artem?
What happened?
You can say it, Chris. I don't care.
Well, Artem's just a little bit sour that he was supposed to get in the bottom 8. After he beats Laba, he was supposed to get the Beaver Pumper or Juji Mufu, but then we assume Ryan Bowen asked Devin to mix it up so that Ryan would get that match, or the winner of me and Ryan would get that match, and Artem now will get the winner of Craig and Evan. So Artem at 190 pounds, or we'll have to pull Laba and then pull either a 280-pound guy or a 250-pound guy, where Ryan gets 165-pound guy, and then the 80-year-old or the fucking dimwit on YouTube, right? So Ryan gets a 165-pounder, then he gets a bye to the finals.
Guaranteed coming in fresh. Nice.
Yeah, so
fresh as a daisy, baby. That's where I want to be.
Oh, man.
It's one thing to put on an event like this, but then to also rig it. Like, I mean, what does Ryan get by saying he won the bottom 8? I mean, he's supposed to be the promoter. Actually, he's a 5-year guy. He's trying to climb. Like, I mean, you couldn't get
I think that's good. I think those are good matchups regardless if it's a bottom 8. I think they're like kind of close matchups. I mean, I think Gobby and Ryan's a good match. I mean, am I wrong? I think Artem and Gobby would be a good match. I think Craig and I think they're all good. I don't know the other two fucks. I mean, Juju Milford guy's cool. I mean, I met him. He's a cool dude. The other Beaver guy, I mean, I don't know if that's just for likes and attention, but I mean, who knows, you know? But otherwise, like, I think they're all good matchups. I mean, we want to see Craig and Evan pull.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck. I think they're legit matchups. You know?
Okay, so hold on. Let's frame it this way. It's 2000. Ryan's a 5-year guy. It's 2014. Herman Stevens is a 5-year guy. Bottom 8 is around. Should Herman Stevens pull in the bottom 8?
For $2,000, why not? And your trips paid?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah.
You don't want to know.
Yeah, that was Afro Herman. So you could have easily taken the 2 G's, bro. Easily taken the $2,000. And what else are you doing? Hanging out with Ryan? Come on, dude. I'd take the $2,000.
Well, no, I would name who I was beating that year, but I'm not going to go there. Let's not go there. We're going to trigger half the United States.
You're getting paid. Your travel's getting paid to hang out.
You're already
tournament
with that comment.
You're gonna hang out with Devin for a week or other arm wrestlers. You're gonna get your whole trip paid, and if you'd win, which you'd win $2,000. So what's the downside?
And then I gotta know. Artem told me where I guess his head's going. And since there's no like money for him, I guess he was saying that there's a tournament that's gonna be afterwards where there's like $300 pay. I don't know what the payout is. It's whatever. I'm sure you know, Gobby.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's like.
Are you telling me Artem's not getting his way paid? He's flying. He has to get his way paid.
No, yeah, he's getting paid.
Yeah, okay,
I'm not saying he's not getting paid by no. I don't know anything about that.
Can he leave the country?
I'm just saying I think he's more focused on maybe trying
the
to
better question is, can he get back in?
There's no way for him to win the bottom 8, And I told him myself, I was like, man, you kind of downplaying Laba. I mean, do you think he runs through Laba?
No.
He runs through Laba. He runs through Laba big time. Then he gets now. If Evan and Craig,
setup, I think if he beats him in the setup, he can beat Lava.
My pick to win it all is Evan. I said that from the start. After that, I actually think Artem. I think Artem only because he'll the first round's a bye with Laba, and then he gets Evan and Craig, and if they have a war, he can easily, because he's a proficient arm wrestler and he's conditioned, he can get through that, and then he gets Ryan or me, like, who would be either one would probably be somewhat fatigued. So Artem, although he has no luck in it, he didn't get a good draw. He can still come out and win this. He's good enough.
Hey, Gobby, does Evan and Craig have side bets on beards or anything?
Well, who cares? They're fucking clowns. They go on, they make videos of getting drunk and talking shit, and I don't know. It's like just fucking arm wrestle already.
Jesus Christ.
Craig's a 2, Evan's a 3. Like, who gives a fuck?
I agree. Craig's my boy, don't get me wrong. I feel like Craig has the tools to win. I feel like Evans can get into Craig's head to make him not pull well. I mean, I know that's a shitty excuse, but
I don't think it'd make me happier to see Craig win it. I pick on him, but if Craig ends up winning that, man, good for fucking him. Like, he injured his left arm last year. He broke it. I think he's torn an arm. I think he's broken an arm. He seems passionate. So fuck it. Like, it would be good for him to win. I'd love to see him win. He's a good guy.
Evan better than how is his right arm?
It's not as good as his left. His left, obviously, you saw beat Whirley. His right's kind of iffy, but one thing his right does better than left is it sinks the hook in automatically. So Evan will get the hook, but again, Craig's a hook puller. Yeah. So if Evan can get past round 1, which I believe he will, he'll coast, because Ryan does not have the horsepower to deal with his arm. And
no, absolutely, he doesn't.
And neither does Artem. I might, but then Evan can actually top roll me. So, but the question, if Evan can get past Craig, Evan will win it all. But like I believe he will. But Craig's really, really strong. Really in his movies, really, really, really strong.
Yeah, Craig is a real drag hook.
Yeah,
a real drag hook type of guy. If he can, get into it, it's going to be who gets there first. It's going to be the setup for that.
If he can suck it, if Evan's going to try to get a counter or a high hook, Craig's going to get a deep hook. Whoever gets that move first potentially wins. It's that simple. Yeah.
Hey guys, last topic of the day. We haven't got any solid questions, and I guess we forgot about this one. And I'm sure Greg Gray's probably fallen asleep already because he's so old. Greg Gray versus Corey Miller.
Oh, I seen that today, by the way.
Parsons,
I don't
what are your
know.
thoughts?
Has anybody seen the videos of the tournament last week when Brandon Dye won over Jose Serena and Corey Miller?
Yeah. I didn't see videos. I just got updates.
I saw Corey beat Ho Sway in a super match before the tournament. So I would bet that Brandon beat them and they both retired.
Okay, so that just depletes that. Okay.
Yeah, and then Greg
How
Gray
did the super
won
match
the
go?
Arnold Classic.
How'd the super match go?
I think Corey beat him. I don't know, maybe quickly right-handed, but left hand was a struggle.
Okay.
So I mean, you could argue it was just a fatiguing deal because I think they went both hands, if I understood correctly.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know. I haven't really seen. I don't know much about Greg Gray. The only thing I can tell is the Valentin kid from Bulgaria that I arm wrestled with. He said he side pulled with Greg Gray both arms, and he said that he had nothing for him left-handed as well. So I mean that has to be pretty well. I mean Valentin's a very good top roller. So if he's not being able to top roll Greg Gray, I mean he's got to have. I mean I don't know the guy. I really don't know the guy at all. So I mean he looks strong. I mean obviously he won Arnold's. I mean I don't know the brackets and the draws and that always comes into play. But I mean good for him, dude. If he wants to go against Corey Miller.
I remember that one.
Did he hook Bill Loxton or did he just beat Loxton out of his hand?
Straps. Beat him in the straps.
Straps, probably straight side.
Yeah, just
that's a
massive
good win.
amounts of side pressure.
That's a good win for him. I mean, Bill Loxton's no slouch, Good hand.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think his side pressure is probably the greatest, but I mean, that's a hard. What do you think? That's just my opinion.
And so Corey's been bored arm wrestling the last couple of years. He hasn't been out there, but he's still one of the best money arm wrestlers the United States has seen in the last 10 years. We've seen him just destroy people. Gray is trending high. Greg's been more active, but now if there's no money on the line and they're just meeting up for like an exhibition super match, who cares? And I think Gray can win it. If there's money on the line, Corey will smash him. Corey's a 4. Greg's a 3. But Corey smashes him. If there's money, Corey smashes him. Corey's still the, and Corey lost last weekend. But I want to know when someone loses. I want to know how much money did they lose. And if the answer is nothing, it doesn't matter to me. When someone puts their own money and still loses, then you could assume they're peaked and prepared. So if Corey has his own money up against Gray, my money's on Corey.
I agree. When you work hard for your money, it's tough to lose.
And what do we know about Gray? He had one really good tournament. Other than that, for his one good tournament, he has about 25 buffoon training videos that makes him look like a tool. What do we know about Corey Miller? He's probably made about $25,000 arm wrestling in the last 8-9 years. Arguably the best lightweight the United States have had under 165 in the last 10 years. But we're going to think, Gray's favored. Fuck that. Corey all day. Unless there's no money involved and Corey just doesn't give a fuck and, it's just an exhibition deal. I'll always go with the guy that's proven more to me. Yeah. And he's younger, right? It's not like we're going with the 50-year-old versus the 20-year-old. Corey's maybe 37, 36. Gray's 52.
55.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Corey all day. Only because he's proven to be a fucking 4.5. Like, he's proven it. When the money's on the line, that dude does not fuck around.
What do you think, Joe?
I agree.
I think it'll be closer, right? But I still give Corey the nod, and left-handed, I think it'll be less close in favor of Corey. How many rounds? Does anyone know how many rounds?
Yeah, I don't know the details. I mean, Greg has like some sticky spot. He's got a pretty good bicep. But, I mean, if you're a supinating hooker and you're kind of basic, I mean, Corey's going to get pronation and he's going to get on top of your hook. I think Greg's bicep gets exposed early, and I think it's probably an easy win for Corey. And it's not because necessarily that Greg is – there's a huge difference in horsepower. It's just that Corey's going to start in a better position. Yeah. And he's going to deleverage Greg.
Yeah. Corey's the only arm wrestler I've ever pulled, ever in my whole career, where I sunk my hook in deep, and he swept it back out. And I'm talking heavyweights too. Like that, that dude has spectacular pronation and hand control. Yeah, Gray has a good hand too, but I always go with the guy that's done the more impressive stuff.
I have to go with Gobby on that. I mean, we have one good tournament to base Greg Gray off of. You got to go with the favor of Corey Miller.
And he beat, what, 176 Bill Logston, which, by the way, is not even close to the 198 version. Some guys, when they drop a weight class, they're just not the same tier. He dropped a tier. Right?
Well, the
He went
198 Bill Logston was really 220.
Yeah.
That's a big dude.
Yeah. And I don't know what happened in the preliminary round. Maybe Bill got fatigued. I don't know. But that one sample size is not enough for me to give him the edge on a fucking I'll say a lightweight legend, because Corey Miller in the United States is a lightweight legend. Not enough. Who's still in his prime years. He's what, 37, 36, mid-30s? He's still in his prime years.
Ice cubes in it?
Corey Miller all day.
All right, guys. Let's wrap this up. Jonathan, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, man.
Later. See you guys next week.
All right, bye.
See you, dude.